as I just said, my name is Amanda Milberg. I'm a partner solutions engineer here at Dataiku. But for the purpose of today's presentation, I'll be playing the role of a pricing optimization analyst at the Toronto Festival of Beer.
And I'm Dmitri Ryssev. I'm a solution engineer at Dataiku. But for today, I'm a market research data scientist at the Toronto Festival of Beer.
And you all look pretty relaxed, hanging out. Maybe you went on a nice walk yesterday, enjoying the nice Toronto fall weather, but things haven't been the same here at the Toronto Festival of Beer. We've been preparing tirelessly over the last 6 months for our biggest event of the year. It's actually happening on Saturday. It's the Toronto Beer Fest. And this is our biggest event because it's our highest revenue event. We sell a record number of beers at this event each year, and it's really important for us in terms of profits and overall brand visibility. And just when we thought we were done and we had every single detail finalized for this Saturday's event, something happened over the weekend. Dmitri, why don't you tell them what happened?
Yeah, Amanda, it was absolutely shocking what went down. So over the course of the past 6 months, we've been spending a lot of time preparing just the right presentation for our executives when we received a Slack alert on Monday morning that something critical had happened in the industry that we needed to take action upon right away. And we needed to very quickly turn this risk into an opportunity because, again, we have a presentation coming up with our execs, and we need to make sure that everything is accounted for. But what actually happened, Amanda? Yes, that's right. The fabled Steam Whistle Brewery has officially partnered with OpenAI to release their second beer ever, the IPA-I. And this shocking revelation has taken Toronto by storm. It was the talk of the town over the weekend.
I mean, this is really some juicy news.
It certainly was, Amanda. And our first instinct was, of course, to go in and just redo our entire presentation to our executives. But before we do anything that left a bitter aftertaste, maybe we first wanted to confirm that this really was as big of a deal as we thought it was.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right, so let's jump into Dataiku, and we'll first head into the workspace in order to be able to take a look at all of the assets that we use to track everything related to the beer industry in Toronto. So the workspace is a great place for both the pricing team and the market research team, but also the executive team to be able to, in one consolidated place, see all of the assets that are important for us as an organization with respect to the Toronto Beer Fest. So we have all of our dashboards, web apps, data sets, everything that's critical for us in one-stop shop to be able to see this information. Now I'm going to hop into the dashboard that we have built out to be able to track all of these latest events. So at the top, you can see here that we have a running tally of all of the alerts that we got sent to us over the weekend. You can see that over the weekend we got sent a bunch, so things do seem to be on the uptick. We can also see all of the most viral or trending tweets over the past couple of days, and as you can see, this OpenAI beer really was talk of the town. Further down, we can see some high-level metrics related to the beer industry as a whole. So the number of brewers that we have, the number of beers that are currently selling, number of tweets, and importantly also the number of emerging trends in the market. We'll come back to that one later. Further on the right here, we also see a word cloud with the most common key terms and things that are really going viral in the market today. And again, you can see AI beer is really getting a foothold on the market. Coming further down here, we also keep track of the number of retweets and number of kind of total interactions in the market related to beer. And normally we expect to see no more than about 400 over the course of any given week. But as you can see over the weekend, we went way above that number. So this is what caused that alert in the first place and what caused us to have to dig into it further. And what is the brewery or the producer that is getting all of these interactions? If we look further to the right here, we can see it's actually Steam Whistle. So no big surprises there. And it's awesome that we can go in and we can see all of this information at our fingertips and read it through the dashboard, but what if I want to take it a step further? What if I wanted to actually ask some questions of this data, be a little bit more interactive? Well, no problem. With Dataiku Answers, which is AI-powered chatbot, we can actually ask questions of this data to find out more and more information. So an example of this may be something like, what is the most common brewery in tweet signaling a new event right now? We can ask that question of the data, and very quickly, as you can see, the answers will be able to give an answer to that question and tell you that, yes, in fact, Steam Whistle was the most common brewery in tweets signaling a new event right now. Amanda, how cool is this?
That's pretty cool. But I guess I have some questions. Maybe you can ask one for me. Before we go and we pivot on adding new beers to this Saturday's event, can you tell me how many tweets and retweets have been happening around Steam Whistle? I just want to understand the opportunity that we might be missing and the amount of people talking about this.
Sure, yeah, we can ask that question. And again, what's happening in the background, just for everyone's information, is we're asking a question that's being automatically converted into a SQL statement that then gets executed against the database that's tracking all of this information. Then what's happening is that information, the result of that query, gets sent back to the LLM. The LLM then writes a response in natural language for the user so they can get the information they need. So even though in the background there may be some complicated stuff going on for the user, they don't have to worry about that. They just can get their answer and move on with their next step. So as you can see, Amanda, there are a number of tweets and retweets related to IPAI. It's looking like it's pretty much trending right now.
Yeah, okay, it's very much trending, and it does seem like something that we might need to tap into, but these insights, right, they still seem a bit hazy to me. So do you mind taking it a step further, explaining how your team is getting this analysis so quickly? I guess I just don't understand. Is your team just up reading Twitter all night?
Well, you know, Amanda, what my team does in their free time is it's their free time, okay? But no, seriously, if they want to go on Twitter during their casual hours, that's fine, but they don't have to do it for work anymore. So it's a fair question, though. What's going on in the background here that's allowing us to create these alert systems and answer these questions via chatbot? Well, let's look behind the scenes into the Dataiku flow to understand exactly how this was built. This is a no-code pipeline that we developed that takes in media data, Twitter data, scrapes that information, and pulls it in through a pipeline using visual recipes and GenAI-based recipes in order to be able to glean these insights. Let's actually go ahead and jump in here into this area so we can see what's happening. So in this view here, we have a data set. As you can see, it's got all of our Twitter related information, all of the tweets in the Toronto area related to beers. And we have a GenAI-based recipe that we can leverage in order to be able to send a prompt about every single one of these tweets to an LLM. Now, in this case, what we're doing is we're asking it to be able to pull out information related to which brewery is being referenced in this tweet, and maybe we can gather some sentiment around this person talking about this beer as well. But if I'm not sure exactly which prompt to use or which model to use for that matter, I can leverage our prompt studio, which is a really nice, intuitive way to be able to actually work with different models and different attempts at prompting on a small subset of the data in order to get the results that I'm hoping to get, right? So I might experiment with different prompt styles or different models, and once I do that and I find the right one for me, I can also compare what I'm getting to the cost of this prompt, and I can see that, you know what, for this price, seems like a pretty good deal. We're probably gonna go with this type of prompt here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. One, that you're able to add this alternative unstructured data source that you didn't have before to understand the market trends. But I also assume this frees up some time for your team to work on some more business critical things.
Absolutely. So my team used to work in Jupyter notebooks and working in Python code in order to be able to do something like this. And it took them a lot of time. It was kind of low value work for them to be able to spin that up. This is so much more simple and much more efficient, Amanda. My team's working in minutes now instead of hours.
That's great.
Yeah. And then in terms of being able to automate this so that we can actually receive those alerts as soon as an emerging trend comes, that's where scenarios come in here. It's really cool. You're able to actually be able to define under what conditions an alert gets sent off to us via Slack or Teams or email or any other reporting tool that we prefer. And based on whatever condition it may be, like as I showed you earlier, the amount of retweets, that threshold that we set up for for these beers. So we can very easily set this up so we're alerted and we are much more proactive instead of reactive in terms of our approach. But at the end of the day, we should remember what our goal is for this, is to build a compelling presentation and craft some nice slides for our executives so that they're able to understand this information as well. So I'm going to head back over into Dataiku Stories, where we can begin to build out live a presentation that's going to be impactful for our executives. Luckily for me, my manager I spoke with already gave me what they wanted in terms of the slide, so I'm just going to pop into Story AI and copy and paste what they were looking for here. In this case, what I want to do is I want to build out a couple of charts, maybe one that shows me the top 10 most retweeted breweries, and then maybe one that's showing me the top 10 individual beers that are most emerging in terms of tweets right now. And what's happening in the background is an AI is taking that information and it's automatically generating the slide in real time for us to be able to see this information that you see here.
Nice. Maybe we can take the chart on the left and turn it into like a bar chart of some sorts. I don't know if that's the best way to visualize the data.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's ask it to change this to a bar chart. Yeah, it's really nice how easily and quickly it is to be able to interact with and understand how we can adjust these different charts here. But what's also fun with AI is you never know quite what you're going to get. All right.
All right, well, maybe for this one, we'll just use the helpful tool at the bottom and do it ourselves. But nice, good. I think that looks better. It's more visually compelling.
Absolutely. And I think my team's work here is done from a market research perspective. But we already answered the what happened. We still need to figure out what we're going to do next. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to tag in my colleague Amanda here. And
Hey, I'm right here.
Oh.
Yeah, we've been talking the whole time. But it's good that you're showing the collaborative features of Dataiku. That's really good. I'm happy for you. So now that we're done, we have our market analyst team. They told us that's important to keep the IP AI at this event. It's my job on the pricing optimization team to understand what is the optimal price that we should now price this beer if we're going to include it. So although I need to rerun some numbers, luckily this pipeline is already built in Dataiku, so I can get that answer in just a few clicks. So let's go back to the flow and take a look at how we developed this pricing optimization pipeline. So we have some historical data and information. We use that historical data to train a machine learning model. So we trained a regression model here to predict the volume. So we all want to understand at a specific price point, what is the quantity sold. But we also want to maximize profits here. So we can use a prepare recipe to create a column profits where we simply take the quantity sold, our predicted volume, we times it by the price. And then our maximum profits is the optimal price that we want to optimize for. Right. So like I was saying before, we've been running this Toronto Beer Fest for the past 4 years. And so we have a bunch of prescriptive analytics on what purchase behavior looks like to give me a ballpark number of maybe where I can start in my pricing optimization journey. So I can understand that the median price, beers usually sell for around $8.25. We tend to price IPAs a little bit higher than other beer types like a lager or a pilsner. We tend to sell more beers over the weekend. We know this event will be on a Saturday, so we can expect to have a lot of beers being sold. And we also tend to sell more in the summer months. So now that it's October, maybe we can understand, how would that change our pricing strategy? And while these prescriptive analytics are good, I need to understand what my price should be for the event this Saturday. And that's where Dataiku has really enabled me as a pricing optimization analyst to upskill myself and do some predictive analytics using the visual ML framework.
So Amanda, hold that thought. My team typically works in code, as I mentioned, but after working with Prompt Studios and seeing how fast and efficient it was, you've kind of caught my curiosity. Can you tell me a little bit more about how AutoML works in Dataiku and what are the outcomes of it?
Yeah, the visual ML framework allows me to have confidence in building my first machine learning model. And this is because it guides me through the framework of all the right ways of best practices of building a machine learning model. So I can select features that I want to include, how I should potentially impute that, select specific algorithms, and also add some model guardrails or overrides. But what I really like is it also provides a lot of these nice charts that I can do something like this and publish to a dashboard, and this helps the business gain confidence in the model. It's not really like a black box use case at the end of the day. So for example, Visual ML gives me some of these awesome charts around feature importance, so I can look at things and understand that the price has a high feature importance for the ultimate volume output, which means that this item is elastic. I can also look at things like partial dependence, which was a concept that I wasn't familiar with before. But using Visual ML, I can now understand how certain variables correlate to the overall target variable. So I could see things like the IPA actually has a negative partial dependence, which means that there are usually less beer sold that are IPAs. But my personal favorite is this what-if analysis. So this enables like anyone in the business to go and select different potential like prices and compare them across different understandings to look at things like quantity sold. So with what-if analysis, my business can understand what does the price look or the quantity sold look like if we price this at $7 or $8 or $9. But remember, this is only one piece of the puzzle, because we don't care about quantity sold, we care about maximizing profits. Right. And so I also created a web application in Dataiku that enables any user to look at a specific price range and get an answer, really putting the hands of AI putting AI in the hands of the business. So for example, I could select a beer type, I can put in the range of what I want to look at, maybe $7 to $9, and I can kick off our pricing scenario. So just like you showed scenarios earlier, we have a scenario that orchestrates the first flow that I was showing. So what's happening in the back end is that I am now predicting the quantity sold, but also finding the profits across everything from $6 to $9.25 increments. And what's nice is I get a really nice readable dashboard or table output that tells me the optimal price for this beer is $8.25. So great. We reran the numbers, didn't take too long, but now, as you said, we need to update that PowerPoint to tell our business stakeholders, okay, we're going to go with IPAI, and this is the price point that we think we should use. So I'll go back to Dataiku stories. And I will ask it to create another chart of the maximum 3 profits by price. And what's nice about Dataiku stories is it's integrated in the product. So this means that my refresh data that I just ran in my pricing scenario can easily be picked up by this slide to create some sort of answer. So again, I see a nice chart. Maybe again, I want to change it to a bar chart. If I wanted to change the color or something, I could do so as well. But I think we're kind of in a good place here to potentially talk to our stakeholders. I mean, we redid the analysis. It looked pretty quick. Maybe a little formatting things here and there, but I don't know. What do you think? You think we're ready for the meeting now?
I mean, I think we're ready, but I do see some executives in the audience here. Maybe we can do a bit of a temperature check. How do we feel? Are we ready to market this new beer, this IPAI?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Woohoo! That's the executive buy-in we were looking for. Cheers. Well, thank you. And we won't be offering beer on this break, but we do have a break that's starting right now. So if you have questions for Dmitri and I, we can meet you at the demo booth, and we're happy to talk. But enjoy your break.